week of her 5 weeks. We'll have the last one next week. This is We Can Work It Out. We're going to have a Beatles song first, then her talk. It'll be followed by another Beatles song, and we're going to use that as the meditation today because she's not doing a meditation for us. So her talk, and then the next song will be the meditation that we have. She's going to refer to all these songs, and I did listen to her talk before this just to see how long it was and what she was saying, and it's just amazing what she picks out of the song, that we say these rote words because we learned all these songs and know what they are, and all of a sudden you go, whoa, that is a different meaning. It's kind of cool. So enjoy this. Have fun.
Songs can give us so much insight into life. And today we're going to look at a few songs and how they describe how, as we search for loving and fulfilling relationships, we sometimes use strategies that are human, but sometimes not as productive or supportive as we might like. So we're going to look at a few songs. We're going to look at Can't Buy Me Love, Please Please Me, We Can Work It Out, When I'm 64, and Obladi Plada. And the whole goal here is to show how we actually play all of these people in various times of our lives, in various situations. We are each of the characters that we see represented as the singer in the song, sometimes as the subject of the person being sung to as well. And we'll see that as we look at these songs, they move to what is a healthier relationship style. But recognize that if you see yourself in one of these songs, welcome to the planet. You have a heartbeat. It means that you are human. And our goal is to work a little bit more towards the place of, if you want some fun, sing Oopla Deepla Da. We start with the song Can't Buy Me Love. And I think of this as the person who is the over-giver, the ardent giver, perhaps giving a little bit too much of themselves, too much of their resources, in the hopes that somebody will love them back. I'll buy you a diamond ring if it makes you feel all right. Starts out with this other focus. I'm going to do everything to make you feel better. A little codependency in there, perhaps. But there's this hidden hope that happens, which is, I'll give you all I've got to give if you say you love me too. So it starts out with this, I want to give you everything, I want to give you everything, I want to give you everything. And then there's just this little hook of, would you love me for it? Could you love me? And then, I don't care too much for money. Money can't buy me love. So there's this wisdom that says, maybe this isn't really the best way to find the love that you're seeking. That giving so much of yourself that you might be depleting yourself, promising yourself that money doesn't mean that much. Money is an energy, it has meaning. The meaning is what we give it. But when we give anything too much, and we're depleting our own well-being in the process, then this is not a healthy relationship. So the over-giver is seen very clearly in this. And all of us have been this over-giver at times in our lives. And then we see this next part, which is, see if I can find it. Yeah. Now there's this, oh, am I doing the right thing? Well, if you tell me that you don't really need this stuff, that will make me feel better. Tell me that you don't really need the diamond ring. Tell me that you don't really need the kind of things that money buys. So there's this wisdom longing to come out, but there's also an element of desperation, of please tell me I'm not making a fool of myself because I'm giving you all this stuff. And that's the danger of the overgiver. Nothing wrong with giving. And they shouldn't have to tell you anything. They shouldn't have to reassure you in any way. If the person you're giving to is needing to respond in a certain way, then what you are presenting is not a gift. It's a contract. So give what feels authentically true for you, is authentically healthy for you, with no expectation of, please tell me that I'm doing the right thing, or please love me because of what I'm sacrificing for you. Next, please please me. This is not the overgiver, this is the overtaker, also known as the victimized gaslighter. These are my language, but you know what gaslighter is? That's somebody who says something that you've done that isn't true, or says that they've said something that you know for sure isn't what they said, but they're so convincing that you start to doubt yourself. This is what a gaslighter is. And what we see here is a person trying to tell you a story. Last night I said these words to my girl: I know you never even try. Come on. Please please me like I please you. Well, I have a little suggestion. I actually wonder how much he's really pleasing her. Just saying. Because somebody who is like this is so convinced of their superiority and how perfect they are in relationship that there may be times that they do genuinely please this girl, but that doesn't come without some strings attached. And the strings are, please me like I please you. Again, there's this expected contract. And then, not only that, they expect you to be a mind reader. You don't need me to show the way. Why do I always have to say? Kind of lacking something there. I know you never even try. Kind of insulting, actually. You know, it's not saying I'm guessing that you don't even try. It's I know you don't even try. Like, I could say a few words, but I'm not going to. But then it gets worse, because then we have this gaslighting that happens, where the person is complaining as they're saying, I don't want to sound like I'm complaining. I don't want to sound complaining, but you know, there's always rain in my heart. I do all the pleasing with you. It's so hard to reason with you. One-sided, one-sided, one-sided. And then another gaslighting. Why do you make me blue? That's a lot of responsibility that you're putting on someone else in a power grab for yourself. Because here's the thing. No one else can make you anything. When someone does something, it can lead you to feeling a certain way. But the feeling is yours. So why do you make me blue? You're giving away all your power, for one thing. And for another, you're expecting this person to be something they're not. So, not a great place to be. And we've all been there. We've all been the person who is the victimized, Maybe not so much the gaslighter, who knows, but even that at times. The person who has said, I do everything, you never do anything. I'm not pointing at Walt, he just happens to be sitting there.
I don't remember the last time I did anything.
Yeah, well, that's another story. But the idea of, this idea of, I do it, I'm the one who's doing everything, I'm pulling my weight, you're not, I shouldn't have to tell you. The honest response is, if you're feeling that way, to say it. Don't expect a person to be a mind reader. And question the assumptions you make about the reasons that people aren't in the same space in giving or taking as you. Because chances are they're giving in a different way. One-sidedness does not work. So don't be an over-giver. Don't be an over-taker. And then we get to another strategy that we all use. And this one I have to thank my brother Ron for, because I had never picked this up, and I have sung this song hundreds of times. And this is what I think of, thank you, Ron, as the biased negotiator. So what we see are the words, try to see it my way. I'm going to keep talking till I can't go on. And I'm going to expect you to sit there and listen. And if it's not today, I'm going to do it again tomorrow until I wear you down enough that you give in. But while you see it your way, we run the risk of breaking apart. Oh, and by the way, we can work it out. And then it goes on. Think of what you're saying. You can be wrong and you can think it's right. There's no I in that sentence. But think of what I'm saying, and maybe we can work it out. And if we can't work it out, we can't get it straight, we're going to say goodnight. And by the way, we can work it out. As long as you see it my way. Isn't that fun? Have you ever seen that in those lyrics before? I'm like, wow, that is so clever. And then, life's short, man. There's no time for fussing and fighting. It's a crime to fuss and fight. So I'm going to wear you down one more time and say, try to see it my way. That's how we're going to work it out. And we've all done it. So just catch yourself. If you find yourself as this character of my way is right, your way is wrong, and if it's not going to be my way, then it's going to be the highway. Instead, consider the idea of, if it's not going to be my way, I'm going to move to the other side of the couch until we can figure it out, and maybe we'll talk about it. And that brings us to a slightly more, actually a much more, healthy relationship scenario, and that is when I'm 64. And with this one, we see this shared vision that one person is asking the other one for their permission and their buy-in. And there's some really neat elements in this song as well. We see this romance first. Send a Valentine, a birthday greeting, a bottle of wine. Don't forget the romance. And if you're in a non-romantic relationship, build romance into whatever relationship you have. Bring flowers, bring gifts. It does not have to be limited to a romantic relationship. And then ask a question. The idea of, let's build this vision together. Are you willing to be with me when I'm 64? And will you let me make mistakes? If I come home at 2:45, are you going to lock the door? Or can we still be in a relationship together, even though I'm going to make inevitable missteps? And then there's this shared vision, which is so lovely, of reciprocity. I can serve you. I could be handy mending a fuse when your lights are gone. You can knit a sweater by the fireside. Maybe on Sunday mornings we could go for a ride and we'll do the gardening together, and who could ask for a better picture than that? Are you in? And the are you in comes in a desire for honest clarity. Send me a postcard, drop me a line. State your point of view. Indicate precisely what you want to say. Give me your answer. And then, if the answer is yes, think of what we can create. Because, oops, one more. Because you'll be older too. So we can create this vision that includes scrimping and saving so we could go for an annual vacation on the beach. This vision includes grandchildren on your knee. Are you in? Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64? It's pretty when you think of it. And then we move to the most interesting, and for many people, the least favorite song by the Beatles. And that is Obladi Bada. And yet, it has wisdom too. Because with this song, we see not just this shared vision, but also an idea of remaining independent while remaining connected with each other. We see the song start with Desmond being a person in the marketplace, maybe selling fruit and vegetables. Has a barrow in the marketplace. Molly is a singer in the band. Presumably somewhere along the line, maybe at the bar, maybe at the marketplace, they meet. And he says he likes her. He likes her face. He buys her a ring, they get married. They build a home, sweet home. And there's that shared vision, a couple of kids running in the yard. And Molly's song is Obladi, Oblada, life goes on. Life goes on. And life goes on. And we see that in a couple of years, they have a home, they have children, and their shared vision continues. Desmond continues in the marketplace, and now the kids are allowed to play with him in the marketplace. And Molly continues to sing in the band. So you sort of get this idea of stability of family. And then the twist. The twist at the end of the song, which maybe you've picked up on if you're familiar with the song, and maybe you haven't. But the twist is, from verse 2 to the end, the third verse, there's only 3. In the second verse, it says, happy ever after in the marketplace, Desmond lets the children lend a hand. Molly stays at home and does her pretty face. And in the evening, she still sings it with the band. Verse 3, happy ever after in the marketplace, Molly lets the children lend a hand. She's in the marketplace. Desmond stays at home and does his pretty face. And in the evening, she's a singer with the band. Now, we don't actually know who the she is. Could be Molly, could be Desmond. Expressing differently. Ultimate acceptance. Life goes on. Obladi, oblada. Life goes on. And again, there's this, what I take from this song is we change. Each one of us changes as we grow older, as we grow wider. We grow, we change. And sometimes our relationships will shift and adjust with our changes. And our goal is to be both connected with the people we care about and independent enough to express ourselves in whatever is true for us. There's no implied, there was a huge discussion about whether we should stay together. There was no implied, shall we, you should not do this, boys don't wear makeup. It's more of a acceptance of it all. Because if you want some fun, sing Obladi Balada. It's not something that you need to control. You don't need to control other people. What if you didn't mind? It goes back, actually, to George Harrison's idea of attachment to the temporary. What if you weren't so attached and could love the people through it all? So, we can work it out. If you find that you are overgiving, ask whether or not you're trying to buy love. If you're overtaking, ask yourself whether or not you are in a relationship that feels reciprocal and fair and equal and respectful. The give and the take. We can work it out, but only if we have honest negotiation. Instead, give and take, which we see in this shared vision of when I'm 64. Drop me a postcard. State your point of view. Will you still need me? And accept the answer. And finally, allow for change. Because if you want some fun, sing Obladi Blada. I bless you.